Good afternoon. It's a long way down those steps. It's been a very interesting day, a day with at least 200, approaching 250, maybe even the capacity of this theatre, certainly from early this morning. So I'd just like to make a few remarks before I propose that vote of thanks to all involved. We've had some very good papers, and when I say some, I mean in terms of quantity, not in terms of excluding papers today. They were all of a very high standard. We heard that the industry is well on its way to growth, to more sustainable levels for an advanced, mature economy. We also heard about internationalisation and the internationalisation of the sector in terms of services and provision. We've had a number of speakers talk about compliance and the new regulatory environment, which bodes well for the users of the built environment. We've heard a lot about innovation, and of course innovation comes into play when you have all the mix that are in there in terms of the forces that are changing the industry, including the introduction of new technologies, new methods of programming and planning. Some of those new technologies we've heard about, like Lean, BIM, has just laterally been referred to again, and its potential for changing the industry and making it more efficient and effective. But we've also heard about disparities in the industry. We've heard that public capital investment isn't what it should be, and we all know the reasons why. We've heard about regional disparities between construction activity in the regions and in Dublin. We've heard about the skill shortages, of course, and how we can address some of those. And within that, we've heard about a gender imbalance in the industry. In engineering, we have 4% of our student body as females. We would love those percentage of females in the industry that we saw earlier in the day on some of the slides. We've also heard about the problems with the present craft apprenticeship and the potential and opportunity with the new apprenticeship system, which we want to get involved with in GMIT. We've heard about the public perception of the industry and some of the ethical behaviour that we observed in the past. We're still leaving evidence to be unturned and discovered for some time, and we know that that's unacceptable now, today. And then, of course, we've also heard about the funding problems, both for the vendors and the buyers in the industry. So, GMIT, of course, is addressing that with the next generation of workers in the industry in terms of that ethical behaviour, in terms of the new technologies that they can bring into the sector, and in terms of the flexibility that we can provide to enable people to come back to get to the right level of credentialisation, which is international portability as the sector needs these days. We're going to examine all the opportunities with the sector to find out how we can further stimulate our quest for the new apprenticeships, which represent an alternative way of learning for people at level 6, 7, as opposed to coming into college. Gender profile is another thing that's for society, despite in the School of Engineering, and in particular in the Building and Civil Engineering Department, who have organised the session today, of the role models. We've quite a lot of professionals and lecturers in the Building and Civil Engineering Department. And of course, over the next few years, we hope to make a significant investment in new technologies, including the refurbishment and the re-equipping of our labs, facilities and laboratories for the use of built environment students, as well as for engineering students in general. So, it's been a very fruitful day. There are lessons there, not just for you in terms of new things that you've heard, but like here in GMIT, I've just summarised some of the things that we need to give serious consideration to continue producing people that are relevant with new skills, with the profile that the sector needs. So, in terms of thanks, starting with the people who spent a lot of time preparing very professional presentations that were stimulating and thought-provoking. And in terms of the audience, some very senior people in the sector, from professional bodies, from vendors, from suppliers of services, from large SMEs, from small SMEs. And the most junior members of the profession are students. And today, as well as GMIT, Building and Civil Engineering, Built Environment students, we also had students from Letterkenny, I think from CIT, certainly also from IT, Sligo. So to everyone in the audience, you were all very welcome today, and I hope that you found it worthwhile putting aside a day to hear what our speakers had to say. I'd like to thank also our organisers. Last year, the chief organiser was supposed to be retired, but he turns up again this year, very much in the chief organising role. So a vote of thanks to him for continuing to give leadership within the department to make this and to improve year by year a very worthwhile venture for the construction sector in the west of Ireland. Thank you very much, everyone.